Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell by the title, this is a very more serious topic. And I'm holding my mic today. I'm not putting it on here because I want to make sure that my mic is on throughout this entire video. I want to make sure that everything I said is heard and that my mic doesn't turn off or die. I need to put my 2 cents and give everything that I've been wanting to say about this topic. So, as you guys can tell by the title, it's going to be discussing the man versus bear and women deciding who they want to pick. Before I dive into this social commentary and how deep this can get, as well as I will be speaking about my personal experience, I want to give a trigger warning, just a little content warning. I will be using words that may trigger some people, and I'm not going to be desensitizing in this video. I will be using the right words. So, just a quick trigger warning. If you feel like I might be using some words that might trigger you, you can honestly hop off this video or just prepare for it. But so essentially, I'm going to be talking about the man versus bear discussion that's been active on social media. I'm pretty sure it started surfacing on social media around 2024. I've watched almost all the videos that I've seen on my FYP For You page. I've educated myself on it. I've made a bit of research. I have just been following it around, and I've always wanted to give my side of things, but I've never really, I guess, made the time for it, but I've been thinking about it. So here we go. And I'll be looking here because I wrote a lot of things that I will be addressing. But essentially, the scenario was, in case you didn't know or in case you were not on TikTok, women were asked if they were alone in the woods, if they would rather run into a random man or if they would rather run into a bear. And a lot of women obviously made responses to this video or responses to this scenario saying that they would prefer running into the bear. And to that, a lot of men came out saying a lot of different things, such as why would women rather run into a bear, or just a lot of defensive things that I've seen. Do you know the things that a bear could do to you? So on and so forth. So I want to just give my personal perspective, but I obviously want to dive into the core argument versus like the real symbolism, because I feel like a lot of men definitely took things out of context. So a lot of women did speak on that on social media, that they would prefer to be stuck with a bear. And the reasons that I've seen and heard is because bears do display very predictable behaviors such as survival, defending and protecting their cubs, or defending themselves in the presence of danger, versus men who could be unpredictable and threatening. And women use that example, that scenario, to speak about the unfortunate experiences that they had gone through and had lived through. And obviously, from what I've seen on social media, the debate was very obviously taken out of context by, obviously, like I've said, men saying things like, do you know what the things that a bear could do to you? Or things saying like, oh, not all men would do such a thing, or it's not about all men. And I feel like there was a lot of responses on social media that further proved women's points. First, the inability of men to really put themselves into perspective, and obviously trying to understand that this scenario is not about the literal wilderness. It's not about women actually being stuck in the woods. It was kind of like a safe space that was created for women to be able to speak about the experiences they've gone through, to speak about the things they've had to endure, and the fear, the harassment, the rape, the assault, being followed around, being called names, things like that. It was really something that was created for women to really speak up about things that they feel like they were too afraid to speak about, or to say out loud, say in public. And they used that scenario to create that safe space to kind of prove their point, and their point was further proven. So, like I said, bears are really predictable. They feed themselves, they defend, they protect themselves. But men can have, and most of the time do have, malicious intent. With a lot of things. So obviously, women were trying to just explain the fact that they would rather with a bear because they know what the bear is going to do. They know that a bear would either defend, try to survive, protect themselves, protect their cubs, kill them, and get it over with. If they encounter a random man, They don't know what that man's going to do to them. They don't know what that man can do to them. They don't know the intents that that man has. And because of all of the things they've gone through, because of all the experiences, all of the things they had to endure, they don't want to take that risk to be stuck in the woods with a random man. That being said, I did make some research, and it was a research from 2026. And the research was from, I want to quote her. The research was from Alexandra Bird. And essentially, when men were saying, like I said, like, do you know what a bear can do to you? They were arguing against biology, but women were essentially arguing against sociology. So from that research from 2026 from Alexander Bird, essentially women, view male violence they only view it as threatening because it includes sexual and psychological harm. These are things a bear cannot do. A bear cannot conceptualize such thing. A bear will just defend, kill, move on with its life. So, based on that research, that's one of the reasons that women preferred choosing the man, choosing the bird, the bear. I'm stuttering. Choosing the bear, over the man. One other thing that I wanted to speak about is the reaction that further proved women's point. So, like I said, a lot of men came forward, and I also watched a lot of TikTok videos. You guys might have seen that as well on your TikTok For You page. A lot of men came forward to talk about, oh, well, it's not all men. It's not all men. Things like that. Men were more focused about defending themselves rather than to focus on the root of the issue. You could scroll on TikTok. You can search up the trend, and you would see bunch of reacting videos to these initial videos of men saying it's not all men, it's not all men. Women were trying to explain that it's always men. It's always going to be men. And I'm not making this video to attack men out there. I'm just trying to make this video to further highlight this, because I just feel like it was shut down so quick. It was really something that was for women to be able to feel like they have that safe space to speak about these experiences, to speak about things that they feel like they were constantly shut down by in society. Like, women are never believed, women are rarely believed and shut down. And that safe space, that trend, that safe space that women try to create for themselves was shut down so quickly because men were so quick to run around and try to defend themselves. Just try to kind of dim the light that they try to create. And I also made a bit of research, and it's something that I did not know it was something. Androcentrism. I just want to make sure I did get the term correctly. Okay, so androcentrism is essentially men having the tendency to put themselves at the center. So we've spoken about Afrocentrism, we've spoken about Eurocentrism, same thing. Androcentrism, men putting their ideas, their perspectives at the center. Them not being able to fathom the idea that there's going to be other people that have perspectives and ideas. So obviously in that trend, seeing that they're not at the center, they're not in the middle ground. It's not about them. It's not about their perspectives. They felt the need to really bring themselves forward and try to make it about them. Why would a woman pick a bear over me? Why such defensiveness? Why this? Why that? Oh, why are we generalizing men? We're not here to say that it's all men. We're here to talk about the fact that it's always men. And they just couldn't fathom the fact that women would choose a bear to protect them. They couldn't fathom the fact that, because obviously men see themselves as protectors, as providers. So they couldn't fathom the fact that women out there would come forward and try to talk about the fact that they would rather be in the presence of a bear that could protect them, that could potentially protect them, over a man. But when you turn around and you ask men who came to defend themselves about this, what are you protecting the woman from? They're unable to give you a straight answer. You would be protecting that woman from other men. And that's exactly what the woman is trying to protect herself from. So that's also something that I feel like really triggered me a little bit, because I feel like that's something women were trying to put forward, but they were shut down. And one other thing that I wanted to talk about is about being heard. Like I mentioned, women wanted to create a safe space. They wanted to be able to be in a space where they can finally be heard. They can finally be heard by other men. They can finally be heard about other women. They could finally be in a space where they could speak about their traumatic experiences. When women out there get attacked, women out there get followed, women out there get raped, there's a lot of victim blaming out there. There's a lot of stigma, and it's hard for them to be able to feel comfortable, to be able to feel, to have a space where they can feel comfortable enough to come forward. So I do have a personal experience, and that's why that trend really touched me so much, because I was just like, that's kind of like how I felt, you know? It's kind of how I felt, and I feel like there's so many courageous women out there who finally felt like they could speak about something just to be shut down. And when men start understanding that it's not about the literal wilderness of being stuck in a forest with a man, but it's about the symbolism, maybe the world will start going round again. But essentially, I was from grade, I may be mixing the years. It was either grade 11 to grade 12. I think it was grade 10 to grade 12. But it was in a span of a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. I was getting harassed by my bus driver. And obviously, like, you could imagine, like, obviously, like, I feel like a lot of other girls or other women as well go through that too. Like, when you're kind of in a situation where you start getting harassed, you ask yourself, like, is it my fault? What did I do? Like, am I really getting harassed? Am I crazy? Am I delusional? Like, what's going on? Especially when you're so young, like, you don't really know what's really going on, and you're kind of afraid. So it was going on for that long, and essentially it started as my bus driver just asking me if I'm okay, like just asking me, like, like I'm somebody who's so polite. I say thank you, I say hi, whatever, just being cordial, just being respectful. And from there, he would just try to make conversation, like a lot of conversations. And then from there, I went from him asking me to come to his house, like asking me to come see him, come visit him. And mind you, this is my bus driver, all right? So he does have an idea of where I live. He drives me home. He has an idea of where I live. And at this point, I'm afraid. I'm really scared. Like, I am scared to tell my parents, and I'm really scared, especially to tell my dad, because I have lived experiences where my dad just blames me for things of that sort, and I just don't feel comfortable. But I just know to myself, because and I feel like a lot of women go through this too, where you feel like if you delay it, or if you don't say anything, like, hopefully it goes away, and hopefully it just stops. But it would be every day that he would ask me something, like ask me to go to his house, ask me to call him. Like, he even gave me his number. He wanted me to call him and stuff like that. And this is my bus driver, all right? This is my bus driver to school. So I started feeling really uncomfortable to take the bus, and I would start taking the TTC. But I'm in grade 10. Like, I'm in grade 11 as well. Like, I just don't have an income like that. Like, taking TTC is expensive, especially every day. Taking TTC to school, taking TTC back from school. Um, it's just unnecessary money when there's a free bus provided. And some days where I couldn't make it, like, I would have practice and stuff. Like, he would ask my little sister where I was or why I wasn't there, or to tell me hi and stuff like that. Like, it just became really, really uncomfortable for me, to the point where I just, like, if I don't do something, it will get up. But the thing that really triggered me to speak up and to actually tell my parents was the day where I think I was coming from shopping. I went with my little sister, and I'm about to cross the street, and who turns before I'm about to cross the street? Like, I'm here, I'm standing, I'm about to cross, but obviously cars are turning, like, you have to wait for the car to turn before you can cross. The car that was turning, sure, it was my bus driver, and he put his window down and asked me to come in his car and come join him and come to his house and stuff. And that really scared me, because it's like, how did you know I was going to be there? So how did you know I was going to be there? Like, what if I was alone? What if I wasn't with my little sister? Like, how do you know? Like, I just asked myself so many questions. So that day, I decided to come home and tell my parents. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell my parents about it because I just feel like it's just getting out of hand. I did end up telling my parents. I did tell my dad. And at first, like it was just a very weird and scary experience for me. Like I did not want to have to go through all that. So what ended up happening was that like I had to speak with the police, and one thing that also like I feel like also like stops a lot of women from going further. Like the police officer on the phone was telling me that it wasn't that deep and that I shouldn't go that far with the situation. This is a man who is supposed to protect. This is a man who worked all his life to protect the citizens. And he is telling me, I'm probably in grade 10 or grade 11 at this point, and he's telling me that I shouldn't go further with this. I've been harassed. I've been constantly being told to come to a grown man's house. And he's telling me over the phone. Mind you, I got followed. He's telling me that I shouldn't go further with this and that I'm taking this too far and it is not that deep. And when I talk about the inability of men to put themselves in the perspectives of women who are going through things, of women who are suffering, of women who are so scared to speak up. And at this point, I really wanted to stop everything. I just wanted to just let it go and just stop everything because I was just like, okay, like, I feel like I'm not just doing too much because it makes it seem like everybody's just making it seem like I'm doing too much. But I thought what really made me keep going with this is I thought to myself, what if I tell myself to let it go, that it's not that deep, like this police officer was telling me over the phone, and he does that to someone, to a little girl. She's scared. She's like, what, maybe 7, 8 years old. She's scared to speak up. And he does the same thing he does to me to somebody who's younger, who's more innocent, who's more vulnerable than me. I just couldn't wrap my head around that. Like, I can potentially do something that can help another little girl in the future who wouldn't have to suffer the things that I did. So I went through with it. Whatever, trial happened, whatever. He can't drive anymore, everything. And a couple, I would say, couple weeks, what ended up happening at home was that I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to just do anything at all. Like I had to stay home. I had to stay closed up. And that's also something like I think it's just horrible. Like when girls go through something and they finally speak up, we victim blame. We try to kind of restrict these girls because we think, okay, you know what? If we restrict them, if we keep them at home, if they don't do anything, maybe the thing is going to stop. But the problem isn't within the women. It's not within the girls. It's within the men. You can hide the girl. You can keep the girl home. She can go outside and another man's going to harass her. The girl is not the issue. Keeping me at home was not going to do anything. I was literally not allowed to go out. Just go to school and come back. Like I wasn't allowed to go out for maybe that whole 6 months of my time, and it was pissed me off so much because I was just like, why am I being contained? Why am I being restricted from the things that I want to do when the problem isn't within me? It's within the men outside who can't control themselves. So obviously, I couldn't do anything. I'm at home, you know? I live under this roof. There's nothing I can do. So, and a couple months went by, and obviously, like, I think it was at this point it was like summer of grade 12. You know, my sister's going to university. She's excited and everything, and just one really big goal that I wanted to achieve was to try for the track team. With no track background, one of the things I wanted to do was start to go to the gym. To clear my throat. One of the things that I really wanted to do was start to go to the gym to build some muscle. You know, I was somebody who was always very, very skinny, and I asked my dad. I asked him if I could go to the gym and get some work in and whatever. Obviously, my brother was allowed and stuff, so I'm just like, okay, if my brother's allowed, maybe I should be allowed, to go to the gym and stuff like that. And obviously, my dad looks at me and tells me that that's the reason why I'm getting followed, because I'm trying to go to the gym, and he's asking me why I'm wearing all that makeup and just saying all these horrible things like, why are you wearing that makeup? Like, you're gonna go to the gym with all that makeup and then wonder why you're getting followed and harassed and all these things that triggered me so much, because it's like, women, like, we're out here victim blaming. I could have worn makeup. I could have worn no makeup. I could wear a skirt. I could wear pants. The problem isn't within me. The problem isn't within you. Whoever you are watching this video, if you've gone through something like that, the problem is not within you. The problem is within the perpetrators. The problem is within the men. Don't try to change yourself. Don't try to shrink yourself. So after that, obviously, long story short, I wasn't allowed to go to the gym. So I had to stay stuck. I wasn't allowed to go to the gym until I reached university. The gym is literally on the campus. So that's how I started going to the gym. And even till this day, I just can't tell my dad I'm going to the gym because he will not let me. I just have to cover under something else so I'm able to go. And there was also another day. I think it was when the trial process was going on, and I wore a skirt to school. Mind your uniform skirt. And my dad started complaining and talking about how like, I will wear skirts like that and provoke him, and I shouldn't be wearing a skirt like that because I'm going to provoke him and things like that. And it's just some things that really stuck with me and really pissed me off, because I just know that a lot of girls go through that too, where they go through something that they're not supposed to go through at such a young age, and they are constantly blamed. They're constantly blamed. They're constantly being accused. There's constantly some victim blaming. Instead of focusing the energy on trying to stop the perpetrators, trying to stop the men who cause so much harm to these women. We keep trying to shrink these women. We keep trying to ask these women what they were wearing. We keep trying to ask those women what they did to provoke the men. We keep trying to say things to these women. Like, I will keep wearing my makeup. I will keep wearing my lip gloss. I will keep wearing what I want to wear, because I know that the problem is not within me, and I will not shrink myself. The problem is not within you, and you shouldn't shrink yourself, period. And there's just a lot of things, like, I've gotten, like, to prove to you guys that I know that the problem isn't within me, and it's not about what I wear. I went on a morning run, and I sometimes go for 6 a.m. morning runs with my mom, whatever. So I'll go on a morning run, and mind you, it's 6 a.m. Like, I have no makeup. I'm probably wearing the ugliest clothes, and I'm just running around the neighborhood. I catch up. I'm ahead, and I realized, because I was vlogging it. I was vlogging. Sorry for the interruption. So I was essentially vlogging myself running, and later watching the footage, I realized that I was getting followed. And not only that, that car drove past me, rolled down their window. Before they said anything, I just ran for my life. I was so scared. But watching the footage back, I could also see that that car was following me from the start. So it's not within you. And don't let anybody make you believe that it's within you. If you ever are a woman watching this and you've ever taken that step, that really courageous step to go forward with alerting the police, and then you get told by a male police officer who honestly would just never understand what you're going through, that that it's not that serious and that you should let it go or drop the case, or don't listen to them. And I know it may be so hard to hear, but I heard the same thing too, and I think you should really, really keep going. So when women out there are saying, I would choose the bear, it's because of all that. It's because women would rather put themselves in a position where there is no threat, there is no psychological harm, there will be no rape, there will be nothing that would, there would be no malicious intent, there would be no hidden agenda, rather than putting themselves with a random man. Oh, but what if he's nice? But what if he's not? You don't know. We don't know the malicious intent. And like I said, it's rarely about the wilderness, it's actually about the symbolism. And the earlier men tried to understand that perspective, and the fact that it's always gonna be a man, and that when they try to protect women, they're protecting women from other men, the earlier and the easier this discussion is gonna be. Thank you for watching.